Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the Patreons, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it guys. So, a lot of people have been asking what would it look like the subtree for aircraft in higher ranks for the Hungarian tech subtree, for the Italian actual tech tree, right? So they are adding the Hungarian tanks line for the Italians and they are adding the helicopter lines, the Hungarian helicopter line to the Italian helicopter tech tree as well. So it's a matter of time, I think, until we see MIGS on the Italian tech tree. I don't know if they will do that or not, but what type of aircraft would we see basically, right? So let's just get into it. I don't want this video to be too long. So we have the normal tech tree over here. I'm going to just not mention the Italian aircraft, obviously, but after the F-84F, we can receive one of the first bombers over here. It would be the IL-28, a very well-known bomber, frontline bomber, tactical bomber, whatever you want to call it. We don't need to mention too much about it, just a normal IL-28, right? Then we would go for the L-39NG. This is one of the albatrosses that were made and they actually use this thing. I don't know what BR this thing would have, but if you don't know, it is basically a trainer, subsonic, that can carry very modern equipment actually, being the NG variant. So it can carry A9Ls, even more modern missiles than that. Even Mavericks, Maverick G, I think it was one of the main ones, if I'm not mistaken, or the H, I cannot remember, but still, it is a very advanced aircraft, but of course it wouldn't have a lot of performance in the aircraft itself. And also, I'm not sure if it has flares or anything like that, so it might be like the Hungarian A10 or something similar to that, right, in that BR range. An aircraft that has a little bit more performance than the A10 in speed and stuff, but maybe no flares, an A9L or something like that to be a 10.0 or something like that, right? And very advanced air-to-ground equipment. Very, very cool aircraft. Then the Su-22 M3. Basically just an Su-22 M3. It's just nothing that we can even mention too much about. Very similar to what we see in the other tech trees, very similar to the exported model for the Russian tech tree and also the trainer version of the Germans, right? But it would be a singular seat, okay? Then we go for the fighters. Before we get to these higher tiers things, let's go for the fighters. Initially, MiG-15 bis, normal MiG-15 bis, nothing to talk about it. MiG-17 PF, this is a normal MiG-17 that has not only the RP2, I think, radar. There are some versions of the radar, but it is basically the LIM 6 that we have in the German tech tree, or LIM 5. I always forget the version that it is, but basically a MiG-17 that has a radar, together with an afterburner as well. So it is a very interesting aircraft. Could carry, in theory, R3Ss, or even, in theory, I'm not sure if the Hungarians did use it. I don't think they did, but in the USSR, service, he could use some beam riding missiles, depending on the version of the PF. Okay, but still, it would be kind of like a MiG-17 with afterburner and a radar, maybe some missiles, maybe not, because it depends on how they want to add it as well on the BR and stuff. So yeah, but just a normal MiG-17. Then we would have the MiG-19 PM. This is, I don't know, it might not be added. This version of the MiG-19 didn't have a radar, a cannon, sorry. And he only used its radar, which is very much similar to the radar on this one. I think it's the RP5, to actually guide beam riding missiles. So we would have 5 or 4 RS missiles, beam riding missiles, K5 missiles. So it would be alright, nothing too crazy, but the performance is amazing, but the lack of a gun is problematic, right? So I don't know if this should be added, but still. Of course, we have the MiG-21s over here, the PFM and the F-13. I don't know why this is... this should be in a stack. I forgot to mention to Lazy. By the way, thank you, Lazy, for helping out with this. But yeah, this should be in a fold. The F-13 first, and then the PFM. But still, F-13, normal F-13 that we already have in game, 130mm, 2 R3Ss, and then the PFM being the Raider, more advanced version, so 1964 version, so we would receive the RP-21 Raider. Still 2 payloads, still the R11 engine, but still an improvement over the F-13. It also has the gun pod, the Grisha 23mm, of course. And then we go for the rank 7. Of course, MiG-21MF and the BIS, 2 aircraft that they used, same as the German ones, nothing to talk about it. R60s, 4 pylons, R13 engines on the MF, and the R25 in the BIS. Same Raider, RP-21. And yeah, very interesting aircraft. We already have it in the game. Another aircraft that we already have it, MiG-23MF. Just a normal exported model for the MiG-23M, same as the German one, so yeah. And then obviously we would go for rank 8, so MiG-29, they use the 912A, so very much the same as the German one, okay? So as you see over here, it's pretty much all copy-paste, and I don't know about you guys, remember when we actually got a lot of copy-paste? It was last year on the October patch when we got the finished tech tree. So I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling that they will add this tech tree with a lot of copy pastes and some few like general additions of aircraft in the next update. I don't know. I just have this feeling. It would make a lot of sense. It would be basically the same as they did with Finland. Is it a good option or not? Well, that's another debate and maybe even another video that we can talk about it. But that's pretty much what I think it will happen, okay? Of course, at the end of the lines here, we have the 2 Gripens, the C variant and the D variant that the Hungarians used. Of course, the C variant is the single seat version, and the D variant is the twin seat. Normally used as a ground striker, normally doesn't have a cannon, so it would be more of a missile, like a AJS vegan, you know, so no cannon internally, but still can use the same missiles. Initially, obviously, the missiles that these aircraft use are until this day the AIM-9L and the AIM-120. The versions of the AIM-120, they claim it's the C variant. So yeah, they bought this aircraft later, right? So the C variant was already available. Of course, after 2021, they started using the IRIS-T as well. And they use the Mavericks that could be used in this version, maybe something like that, right? So this would be the normal Gripen, you know. So the C variant and the D variant from the early 2000s, with using the AIM-9L initially and the AIM-120s, the C variants, and afterwards the IRIS-T as well, in theory at least, right? And that would be it, guys. That would be it. Together with what the Italians can get in the future with the Eurofighter, maybe even the F-35 and other aircraft, it would be one of the strongest and most diverse, you know, tech trees in the game. Because not only you would see a lot of NATO aircraft, you would see a lot of Russian, Soviet aircraft as well, especially during the Cold War, right? So it's, I don't know, I feel like there is not a moral debate over here, but some sort of debate that maybe the community is not even ready to have it yet. But I don't know, do you like the idea of having MIGs in the Italian tech tree? It is pretty much the same as the other nations already have it. So I personally don't think it's a big deal. But I don't know, people have different opinions. So leave it in the comments what you think about it. And yeah, guys, this is it. I see you guys on the next one, and bye. Subscribe. Love you all.